We're here. We're here. Uh, Usually I literally have my picture up of me, but this is Killmongers. Uh, I try to keep these videos like this down. You know, like I said, I don't like to talk about the gender war and all that because I try to motivate people to work at yourself, be for yourself. But sometimes you just gotta address things, and that's why I was thinking about starting another channel to do a lot of this stuff on, because you get tired of seeing things as what they are, people putting out, and I already know with that topic right there, the thumbnail or something, I'm gonna get a lot of people watching this video. But the thing is this: when it comes down to it, I was watching O'Shea video. I should have. I don't know. I might go back and put the video I watched earlier about this, and it's. I just did a whole video. I was actually. I be doing a lot of videos, put them to the side, put them on another channel. I'm gonna start, but like I said, I really don't be like want to do these different uh things about this, but it goes into what I'm talking about with this gender topic. People being accountable for their actions. What's going on in the chat? A lot of times you will have men, you know, and women, they do their best. They get bad outcomes. Understand it. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. But if you keep constantly getting in the fire, it's time for you to pull back, reflect, have some time to yourself. On average, most people don't even go through relationships and just say, I need some me time. That's the whole point of the nine laws of government. Shout out to Gold P. You know, apply selfishness. You got to think about yourself. You hop from relationship to relationship. You've never actually grown and seen how this situation can work for you because you're on to the next one. You know, even to the situation of, you know, the video I just seen earlier with O'Shea. Having this conversation, it puts me to a point to trying to understand like that video had this woman talking about how she's a single mother, she's educated, she's a model, and all this stuff. Literally, I think just came out today or something. I don't know. I just seen it in my feed. And the crazy part about that video was when it came down to it, a lot of that stuff was talked about was from her own reflecting that she made bad decisions. She ended up having a baby with a guy, ultimately wasn't good, didn't work out, then was trying to point the finger that all these men are the same. All these men act like this, all these men do this. The second phone. There you go. But all these men act like this, all these men do this. And when it come down to it, when are we gonna start pointing the finger at ourselves? You know, we make mistakes in life, but we don't want to own up to them. When it comes down to it, I mean, truth be told, you made this mistake. You dealt with this person, you got this result. Why I gotta pay for your mistakes? Why I gotta pay for the things that you do? A lot of people will sit here and blame everybody else for the stuff that they do. And I definitely do not understand that. When it comes down to it, you're in a situation for the stuff that you did because of what you did. Hey P, what's going on, man? You wanna come up? Oh man, y'all don't put Goldie out the cloud. What is going on in here? And the crazy part is this, you know, the reason I want to speak on that video about O'Shea because she was saying how men act a certain way, men do certain things, and you know, they don't want to own up to it. And she was like, well, it's not about us women that pick better. So you mean to tell me because you picked this guy in this relationship and he's not working out, that all men have issues within themselves. They need to do better and be better men for all women, but you're the one in a relationship with this man. So I'm like, wow. Then she went on to, kept saying how all these men, because she only deal with black men. So she was, referring to the way black men treat her. And, you know, she said, well, white guys, they only hit her up on Tinder. Chinese guys don't approach her. So O'Shea was basically going into the instance that say, she checks all the boxes off. She's a light skinned woman. Most guys like light skinned women. She looks good. So that's, I think he said she was like an 8 or something. So that's a good thing. You got two things checked off good. So it's your attitude. Most women, they're good women, but it just the way that they move, certain guys don't want to deal with that. Yeah, it's a part of that. A lot of times, and it's just with men too. Most men, they will sit here have these issues with women, but they don't know how to, peak it too, because if a woman don't want to talk to you, check yourself. I might be too fat. I might don't look appealing to a woman to say that, hey, this is the type of man that this woman wants. And I was talking about this earlier. I was like, back then didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. You know, back in the day, you was an ugly duckling in school, whether it be woman or man. Nobody wanted to deal with you. But now that you got a little money, you do something for yourself, people are all on you. One of the dudes, I'm not gonna say the dude name, dude was a dork in high school. Me and dude was cool. Like, I was a jock, so everybody knew me. Everybody was good. Then I was wild too. I used to have gold teeth. I used to grow my hair crazy, and I was just living the way I want to live. I wasn't no bad boy, but I was just a cool person. I was cool with everybody, everybody. Like, and so me and dude, we was real cool. Talk to him all the time, and dude ended up going into a profession that he was around a lot of people, socialized and stuff like that, and he ended up starting a company. And needless to say, I ran into him dealing with his company one day, and dude had got bigger. You know, dude kicking it with. I gotta. All right, but yeah, dude had ended up getting bigger, and so I ended up seeing him, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" I was like, "What's going on with you?" And I just started seeing him posted on the, I guess Facebook, because really don't catch a lot of posts from people, because I get on Facebook and I'm on and off. But dude, work out, because I seen him. I said, "Dang, dude, you don't got big, man. You swole." We joking around and stuff. He like, "Yeah, man, I'm a whole lot bigger from high school. I do this and I do that." And so next thing you know, dude end up um getting into a point where he got into a relationship with a girl. Then we had a reunion. All the girls was checking on him and was saying how good he looks and everything. And it gets to a point, man, like, my bad, I got a text coming in trying to answer that too. But yeah, it gets to a point where dude's getting so much like women all up on him. And I was like, dang, they didn't even know this dude existed in high school. I'm like, didn't even know the guy exists. Me and dude used to always kick it, talk all the time. Like, he wasn't the sports type, so he didn't get into sports like that. He didn't, do certain things to kind of facilitate himself in being in, around a herd and a crowd of people. And now that he's to this status and look a certain physique, all these women. Another dude, same thing, little short dude. It was crazy. Like, dude was short. He's still short to this day, but he got a little taller. I could say he got a little taller. But the thing is, he's built. Like I'm talking about, he goes to weight competitions and stuff like that. Build his body up. I'm talking about he was a little short, dorky dude. Me and him played chess together sometime in art, and had braces. We always talk, and he was like, man, a lot of these girls don't want to deal with me. I say, hey, stand in line, bro. Me too. He was like, man, why girls don't deal with you like that? You in the sports and stuff like that. I don't know. I already knew it was one chick. It was crazy. I broke up with her. Nobody wouldn't date me after that because they were saying I'm a heartbreaker. I was like, cause that girl used to cry every time she see me. I don't like it. It kind of do things for a loop. But anyway, man, it was crazy because like all these people I seen from high school, even the girls, like it was a couple girls where nobody used to fool with. I remember this one girl. It was crazy. I think eighth grade year, she was big. Like nobody want to talk to her. Eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, it was like a rose just popped out of the ground. She came back 10th grade, had a little shape because the thing of it was she used to work out with us. She became a manager. I'm giving out since I said that for people who know me, they gonna know. But she used to be a manager with a wrestling team. She worked out, came back that 10th grade year with a banging body. All the dudes was running up on her. But she ended up dealing with this one guy who was always her friend. Like he was cool with her before the body. So he was down just be like on some cool friend. Like I knew the chick, but that was the whole thing. Like it came to that point. Like a lot of people don't want to deal with people with they want to have circumstances to where they want to deal with you. Other than that, they don't want to be with you. And then the crazy part, like as you get older, you start choosing different people according to what society standards. I say this all the time on other people channel. That's why I say I try to keep this gender topic stuff off, but it needs to be understood. Like your value is in what you pick and how you pick. You know, yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is a lot of us we go through life. Like I said, I went from big to small, big to small. When I was a little kid, I was a fat kid. When I got to middle school and high school, I got slim. Middle school, I started slimming out. Now I'm back big as an adult. But you know, when it comes down to it, hey, people way go up and down. Even with women, women catch so much grief about being fat. Like I used to deal with big girls. I like my thing of it was it wasn't the point of you being a big girl. It was your attitude. That was my whole thing. Like the person, like that's who I deal with. I deal with that person. I deal with the way you move, the way you act, the way you talk. That's who I'm dealing with. All this other stuff, I'm not approaching that. Like you can have a girl that's bad and look good. Back in the day, you know what she represented when she was bad and looked good. She can only have sex. You know, because most of the time, most people doing what hitting her for the sex anyway. Like that was like one of the biggest things in most guys' book. Like I can deal with you for sex. That's pretty much about it. Other than that, it's like you have issue because the so-called bad women, they have this stereotype about themselves. Like, and I'm gonna say it with this: a lot of women they talk crazy. Yeah, shout out to Big Shirley. I know this one dude. It was crazy. This one dude I know, back in like dude, he got two baby mamas. Both of them baby mamas cheated on him. And I'm like, dang, I'm talking about this is a good dude, but literally has no big drive about himself. He just want to live life and have fun. That's his only expectation. Live life, have fun, take care of his kids. You ask him about his future goals, he got the same typical future goals as everybody else. He wants to, you know, raise his kids right. He wants to enjoy his family. He wants to take trips. You ask him about buying a house and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, yeah, I want a house. Yeah, a house will come. Talk about his expectations about job and money. Man, I got a job. Yeah, man, I want to make $1 million. Same typical thing as everybody else. But because this dude wasn't the prototype or the type of man that they wanted him to be, then both of those women cheated. Both his baby mamas cheated on him. He broke up with both his baby mamas. And I'm like, dang, dude. I told him, I said, dude, you might need to fall back for a minute. He said, I know. And he just thinking like, am I that bad of a guy for both of these women to cheat on? Like, women don't see that aspect. You only see when you get cheated on or when men do you wrong. And but then when they say, what a real good man, that's one of the real good men that got cheated on. The real good men that get cheated on turn bad, then they complaining about how this bad boy treated them wrong. Like that's the aspect a lot of women are not seeing. Like dudes out here, yeah, the whole bus driver thing. Like, what's the problem with dating a bus driver? I drive trucks. What's the point? Like, I was talking to these ladies online. I was telling them they was like, I don't want a man that's clinging on to me. I'm like, dang, so you want to be single? Nah, nah, I want a man, but I just don't want a man. I love my space. And I told her, I said, well, date a truck driver. I said, date a truck driver. Oh, that's a good idea. I said, if you don't want a man that's always home, always this and that, and you need your space, you still want to feel single, date a truck driver. You know how many women they don't want to date a truck driver because you know why? That truck driver always gone. They want to have sex right then and there. They want to be on like, yeah, when I want to have sex, I want to have sex. You can't have everything in a relationship. It's so many times that we see people that want everything. You do all that stuff when you young. You start young. When you want everything in life, you start young trying to get this stuff. You can't wait till you get in your 30s and 40s, possibly 50s, and saying you want a better life and a better outcome for yourself. You should be doing that in your 20s. The crazy part is, I heard a man once say in the space that I frequent in the manosphere stuff and all that, a man told this guy, 23 years old, makes about $100,000 a year. This guy's in his 40s. He told this 23-year-old guy, I wouldn't get married now. I'll wait to get married, dog, because you still got growing to do. And, I didn't start making my money till I got in my mid 30s. I didn't start making no real money till I got in my mid 30s. And the crazy part about it was I was laughing. I was like, so you mean to tell me you didn't start making money until your mid 30s, but yet this guy's 23 making money, and you trying to tell him to don't get married to at least in his 30s, his 30s. So you basically telling him to jump over the wall, the vice versa, where the women have to get married before the wall at 30. And who's he gonna marry? Is he gonna marry a woman that's around his age? Because he has a girlfriend. This dude had a girlfriend, well, has a girlfriend, and he's trying to get this young guy to not get married yet, to wait in his later years to get married. And I'm telling the guy, I'm like, nah, man, go on and get married now. I say, if it don't work, it just don't work. But at the same time, you 23 years old making over $100,000, dude. Go on and get married. Why are you gonna wait? Is this a good woman? Do you love her? He like, yeah, I've been with her for since high school. Man, me and her cool. We got an apartment together, this and that. What's the problem? Why you can't marry her? Well, man, she a good woman. And I was thinking about buying a ring. I'm like, dude, I got married at 25. I'm still married. Oh yeah? Yeah. So you got this old head telling you don't get married, and he like 40 something. And at the time I think I was like 39, 38, 39 when we was on the panel. And I was telling them, hey dude, get married. So many people want to get married later on in life, You set in your ways. You don't like people like that. You do not like people like that. The issues you dealing with these older men and these older women that are telling you to get married later. No, yeah, you get married young. Get married young. Because when you get married young, you gotta understand if it don't work out, you still got time to get married again. Especially for the woman, because they always complain about how a man has took her age and she needs to get that alimony because this and that. And 9 times out of 10, let's face it, this whole alimony talk, a lot of people don't need. I don't qualify for no alimony talk. First of all, my wife works. Second of all, when you talk about this whole alimony talk, a lot of people ain't making money like that. And the ones that make money, they protect their finances. And of course, if me and my wife made all this bread together, why not am I gonna split it with her? I'm mad cause she leaving? Bruh, she can go. Like, I guess this thing about being black, I guess I've been black pill or something like that for years. And I don't understand this whole relationship point. If somebody wants to leave you, why are you trying to keep them there? You trying to strong arm them with the money? Let them go. You can't control no situation. I've never yet to see a man control a woman, a so-called pimp. I've seen what is it? Hustle and Flow. The guy was basically saying, I mean, the woman, she basically said sometimes she like her head being messed with. Not today. Women know what these dudes are doing. They know. They literally mess with them on the premise of, dealing with you a certain way. But when comes the time when they don't want to be dealt with that way, they really let you know it. Nope, not today. Not today. And the biggest issue is we don't want to tell the truth. A lot of us got put in bad situations because of our upbringing. We seen our parents go through struggles, and the biggest part about going through these struggles, a lot of us didn't learn nothing. You got dudes out here still having babies. It's 2023. Jay Sean, I was listening to Jay Sean on the panel, and Jay Sean said it best. He was like, I seen my uncle and them go through this stuff. Jay Sean got one kid. His relationship didn't work out. Jay Sean and his baby mama, they cool. But the thing of it was, he went and got his daughter. His daughter stayed with him. Had all his paperwork together. He fought, got his kid. His kid stayed with him over there in Germany. The daughter living it up in another country. Like, that's the biggest thing. You know, when it comes down to it, a lot of people, man. We keep going through this whole back and forth. Like, dude, a lot of us really don't, like, we really don't have no money to be sent up to alimony. How many dudes out here making money to pay alimony? Oh, that's like over $100,000, something like that, a year. Most guys ain't making that, and the dudes are making that. From what we so called hear about in the ministry, most of them ain't got chicks. Most of them not even together. They not with nobody. I know some people now that's in the space that make that money and don't have the significant other. Yeah. Uh, tell us. I mean, on the fact end, most of these white guys that do make a lot of that money like that, but then you gotta look at the whole scenario of the black guys that so called make a lot of money like that. Like, they trying to protect their money, but if you gotta pay, you gotta pay. There's no way around that. If you literally gotta pay, you got to pay. And so a lot of us, we have these issues. Just pay the money, man. If I'm a millionaire and I gotta give my wife 500,000, give her the house and car, and I'm the breadwinner, guess what? I can make that money back. I'm not worrying about that change, man. I gotta take care of my kids anyway. I'm not worrying about, oh man, you gotta start. Start over for what? I know how to make the money. On average, most millionaires who lose it all gain it right back. Gain it literally right back because they knew to do. Dave Ramsey always talk about how he became broke, got his money back, got broke, got his money back again. Like we hear all these successful stories about these rich people. They get their money, they know how to maintain it. See, that's the whole premise why I talk about finance so much on my channel. The main reason why I talk about finance on my channel so much is because a lot of us ain't got no money. A lot of us don't know how to go get money. A lot of us can't even qualify for a credit card, let alone trying to buy a house. You know how many people like I was talking to my brother the other day about this dude I think his dad died. His dad died and left him $70,000. And he was one of three kids. He was the oldest. So I'm thinking like, dang, he either left all of them 70,000 or he just left the oldest brother 70 and he left the other two kids 50 or something like that. But I know they was up in the thousands. How many people in our community can say that? Shout out to Alonzo. They literally had this one to where there was this black man. He was a agent, insurance agent. This dude sold $1 billion worth of $100,000 life insurance policies to make $1 billion. And basically, he kept saying, and Alonzo talked about this during COVID. They gave out, I think it was 70 billion dollars in life insurance. It was only $1 billion in our community. $1 billion. We up here talking about the gender war. We up here talking about how, you know, the women are this, the women are that. While other communities, they make when COVID, they made bank on it. It was an untimely demise for their family members. They got rich. The Rockefellers, that's how they made their money. Putting their life insurance into a trust, flipping that money. The Vanderbilt, seen how at one point in the 1800s, they were the richest family in the banking industry. And due to gambling and not being responsible with their money, they lost so much of that money. They wasn't worrying about no gender talks. They weren't worrying about being indifferent and SBE and all that. You know they was worrying about? They lost their money balling, spending money. Like this the whole reason why I talk about, finances and stuff. You can get the money all day, but if you don't know what to do with the money, how to spend the money, you're gonna lose it right back out. That's the crazy part about that. That is the crazy part about that. And then, hey, Ed, it's so many people walking around here that are millionaires you'll never know. I used to work at this moving company. The moving company I worked at, it was in the top five of moving companies. I never heard about this moving company before. They only do corporate. They every now and then they do residential, but mainly corporate. Never heard about this moving company until I started working there. I started seeing their trucks a whole lot. Like one of the warehouses that was in Texas, they got two warehouses in Texas. All right, I dropped the link, AP. They got two warehouses in Texas. Their warehouse in Texas that they got, that warehouse made this dude so much money that in I think it was not 20, it had to be like in 98 or 2000, somewhere around in there. He was voted the fifth richest man in out of all this oil and stuff in this area. Now I think it went in Texas. It was in Houston where he was at. The fifth richest in Houston. The fifth richest man in Houston where he was at. Fifth richest? You mean to tell me out of all these oil people, all these companies making money, This guy literally came out to be the fifth richest in Texas. Crazy. And you know, we up here talking about this. Like I said, 19 popped off. You only had $1 billion in the black community. $69 billion went to other communities. And I know they can do the breakdown on it and, let it be known like, hey, these are the people making the money. These are the people that we want to subscribe to be or act like, but we ain't hitting on those numbers. We ain't hitting on those numbers. Because when it boils down to it, man, it's like this whole gender topic is cool. But when you cut this thing off, a lot of these people not talking about this stuff in real life. You're not pushing this stuff out here. You have these conversations, you get roasted. I remember one dude, we was in a group chat, and the guy, I know he frequent the manosphere, he's talking about some stuff. Man, he literally said something, and people went off on him in the group chat. It's like, hey man, you need to shut that junk up. What did you talking about? Hey, she know, and I'm laughing because I told him, I said, y'all talk all this crazy stuff online, but when you take it offline, you get a whole nother ball game, bro. And I told him, I don't talk no crazy junk about women. I do know that women do bad stuff. I mean, real talk. It's it's not pleasant for me to sit here and put all this time invested in a woman, and then she jump on another guy. You see a lot of these gold digger videos. These, and then it be sometimes the gold digger videos where the women say they're in a relationship. One lady, she was trying to holler at a dude while her man was pumping gas. I'm like, dude. And she like, I'm about to go with him. And he was like, really? Shawty, you not going nowhere. She opened the door trying to get out. He closing the door on her. Didn't even know this was a gold digging prank video. Now she got to get out the car, go to this guy. This guy say, man, I'm just pranking, boom, boom, to go with your man. The man look at that, oh, you pranking? Okay, cool. He pulls off. Now you stuck at the gas station. Now when you go home, he got all your stuff at the door. Or let's say that's her house. By the time she get there, he got all his stuff and he gone. Then what? It's like dang, I can't think of dude's name. There was a video where this chick, I know what's her name, what's the lady that does the receipts? She just came to YouTube. AP, I'm a thug. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, G? What's going on this morning, man? What's happening, brother?
What's happening? Yeah, let
I
me
hear you dropping some gems.
let me shoot this real quick. So basically, they had this one lady. She wanted to go to the Beyonce concert. The Beyonce concert, uh, it was $1,500 for nosebleed seats. She ended up getting proposed to her man, and they were saving to buy a house. I think they had like $9,000 or something like that. So dude ended up putting in like about I think 8,000 and some change. I think it was like 8,000 and some change. Oh, girl only put in like $800. She told him, "Well, can we take that out the house fund?" And he was like, "We need to be saving for a house. Beyonce is not that much important." He was like, "You wanted me to propose to you. You said you'll be better in life if I propose to you, and we get married in 3 years. So we're gonna buy a house before we get married, and then all is set." She got mad because she wanted to go to the concert so bad. She broke off her engagement, got her $800, and went to the Beyonce concert. She lived in that moment so bad. It's like down the line, she gonna regret this whole thing. I'm gonna see a feed or something like that from her for the next like 5, 10 years. She gonna be crying about how she broke up the best proposal of her life for Beyonce. Crazy. Go ahead, AP.
Yeah, that's bad, man. That's bad. I mean, that's like bad communication. That's like everything involving a relationship. Like, that's selfishness. That's a lot that goes with that. And a person like that, you're right. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see a person like that years later saying that, oh, if she admits to it, because you know how most manosphere guys, they like to say, women don't take accountability. So yeah, I mean, if she's that woman, yeah, maybe we'll see a post from her years later that that she finally admits that. But I think a lot of women make those decisions. One of my exes did that. And I'm not trying to shame her, throw her under the bus, because I still got love for the girl. She's older than me, and it's like a lot of this running around doing, wanting to travel and do this and go with your kids and spend money. It's like you're not gonna get no house like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't put your priorities first, or you're not listening to the man that's supposed to be in your life, you know, I mean, what is it? You might as well just be on something where it's like friends with benefits, if you ask me.
That's what most people. Hey, they should be in the game like that. But that's the whole thing. When it comes down to the real talks, if I tell you that I'm gonna take care of everything, but I want another woman, a woman would not agree to that. It's got like I was talking to some guys and on a panel who was chopping it up TV. I think I was telling him, I said in a couple of years, this whole poly and all this stuff is gonna be normal because you gotta understand, a lot of these women are complaining about good dudes. It's not a
It's
lot
not
of
a
good
lot of
dudes
good
out
dudes
here,
out here.
so they
So
say.
they say.
So
So
they're gonna have to
they're
go
gonna
with
have to
these
go
men.
with these men.
Yeah, times are changing. I even heard, everybody who watched that interview with Ayana Van Zant and Ebony K, even Ayana Van Zant said that times are changing. You know what I'm saying? Like she asked the question, "Can y'all women live out in the woods? Can y'all survive off the land?" And the answer is no. It's some of us men out here who can't do that. So I mean, polygamy, when that happens, I mean, it might be so hard out here for men and women. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you don't have no choice as a man but to be baited down, and you got to deal with one of them sisters that's gonna be controlling you, like a Ebony Case. Some men ain't gonna have no choice. Just like the women, some of them ain't gonna have no choice. They're gonna have to share a man, especially if you got a great man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, because
I mean,
even
cause
like with me, you got a little echo, but even like with me, like I tell people all the time, man, I be like, man, when it comes down to it, I don't got time to be dealing with no three, four women. That ain't my cup of tea. I always say I got enough with one woman, let alone have two emotions, two peers running in the house going crazy. Like, bruh, I'm good, one and done. I don't need a whole bunch. I don't need a whole bunch of women. I'm good. I need to be have one set and cool. The whole sex thing is not an issue. Me and my wife, we had that whole conversation before we got married, so I don't have to worry about sex. Sex is not well. You have two women. Nah, it's not a big issue. So when it comes down to it, a lot of these guys, you don't have the talk. A lot of guys don't have that talk. You don't know what position you in with a woman because you don't have
you
literally
don't
the
have
talk.
literally the talk.
Right. No time to talk, no time to be like, and I hate to use this word, but like to show your affection or even your emotional side. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get that as a young kid. Oh, you're not supposed to cry around women, and stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, you have to be yourself, man. You human. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you cry at every little thing, a woman wouldn't accept that. But I mean, god dang, man, it's a lot of stuff that I think men could be doing, especially us, because we gotta focus on us men first. The women, like you said, I don't have a problem with being a one woman man, or even preaching that to my peers, my friends, my associates, whoever I'm around, the youth. I don't have a problem with that. I just look at it as if I find that woman, oh yeah, I see all the qualities in her. I don't need another woman. You feel what I'm saying? But from what I was studying and my ideology changing, and it's just like some of these guys in the manosphere, the hotel community, everything's similar. So for me, that's I've heard so much of that in the past. It kind of was like on my brain so much that it's like I was caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's but not to the point where it's like I can't do without multiple women. Because if that's the case, I could just be, be on my PUA shit. Player, but I mean, how long does that last? You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I think the polygamy thing. I think for me personally, um, it was never a thing like I said, like I'm not gonna find that one woman. Like anything's possible. But however, I just feel like for some of us in these times that we're moving in, you might find a woman who's not into gardening, planting her own vegetables and fruits and shit. And then you might have a woman that's into that. So I mean, why can't you have both? But you have to be able to, what I'm saying, accommodate them and, be fair, I would think. A lot of stuff comes with that, what I'm saying, especially finances. You don't have to be rich, but you got to know how to basically move, in life accordingly with your money, your finances and stuff. You talk a lot about that, you, Lonzo, like a woman don't want to be with a man like that. That's not thinking longevity wise, so let alone have multiple wives. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen. And then, like you said, I just don't think it's for everybody. Me personally.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the
I
point of
mean,
it is you literally got to have the money. And how many dudes honestly say that they got enough money to take care of two households? Because that's at a disadvantage for the kids. That's at a disadvantage for that woman. If that woman is looking at you to so-called be the protector and the provider, and you only got enough money for self and barely enough money for her, how you gonna bring another woman? See, dudes are not thinking logically like that. You know, it's more of a sex addiction game to the point where I can get two women, have sex with them. No, it's a lot of things go into play about that. That's why a lot of men they talk about the other cultures, Muslims, and how they do things. And you only can have as many wives you can take care of. See, they don't really never say that. They don't never go at that point. Like when I talk about life insurance, that's why I say I got enough money to where my wife don't even have to work for a couple of years. She can relax, pay the house off, don't do nothing. Because it's gonna come to that point. If something ever happens to me, she might be in a position where she don't want to work, and she's at that point. A lot of guys they don't even have enough life insurance to bury themselves, let alone having the money to take care of you know their kids. How many guys that well, like I said, when Alonzo came, that was a perfect opportunity. I hear other guys say, well, I have my cousin. I forgot one guy. I think it's Lucario. I don't even watch him, but I heard him on a panel was talking about how his brother sells life insurance, and every now and then he bring his brother on the panel to talk about life insurance. They go to Lucario for game. They don't go to Lucario for finances. I'm like, you can't be a financial guy one day and then the next day be a game and player guy. Like it doesn't work like that. That's why I try to stick mostly on the finance topic because I'm trying to tell you, in the midst of all this, you need to get your finances in order. Like most dudes on average that's in this space of talking like this, I had a talk with Uru the other day on the Rogan channel. And the crazy part was, Uru was saying, "Well, you don't know everybody's finances," and I'm like, "Uru, come on, dude. You're an accounting. You're an accounting. You are different than everybody else. When BGS talk about the professionals and the scholars, you're almost up there with those guys because you make that type of money. You live this type of lifestyle. Like I'm scratching my head. Like you should be encouraging this type of lifestyle for these youth. Not talking about this topics like this because it has no bones at the end of the day if they don't have money. You can tell these guys like to go and do this, to be this type of man, but without money, he's not doing that. You know, the finances rule everything. You need money to live, let alone having money for your kids, your wife. You know, you need money for a house, let alone trying to get a job to maintain all this stuff. That's why I be pushing more guys need to talk about, things else. The least of trucking. I drive box trucks. I tell guys this it's not a glorious lifestyle, but it pays. I always say that this driving profession it pays almost as a college graduate because I literally just have to get in the truck and drive, drop off a couple of things, and I get paid just like somebody just went to college and got a degree. It's a
Right.
fast track.
And you could also control like, like your routes and stuff that you want to do.
You went out, AP.
You kind of control your time into as far as like your scheduling.
Yeah. In most cases, depending on if you're an owner operator, you have 100% control of everything. Like with me, I work for a company. The reason why I get paid pretty good because I'm on salary and I get paid off commission, so I get paid twice. So with me, my route is typically in one area. Long as I get in before 10 o'clock, most of the time I've been to work at 11 and I successfully delivered all my routes. I come to work at 11 o'clock, had a doctor's appointment or something, still did my same route that's an hour away from my warehouse, and I still drop off all my stuff, be done by 5. If I get there early, I get to work at our warehouse open at 5 in the morning. I get here at 5 in the morning, pick my stuff up, go out to my location, wait to deliver to about 7:30. Most places typically start opening up at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I could be done. When we was at the old warehouse, I would literally come in at 6 o'clock, load my truck up, be done back at the warehouse by either 12:30 or 1:30. So when I used to do that, I went and got a second job. I worked at AAA. I worked at AAA. I did that for I think 6 months because I wanted to get me a tow truck. And once I found out the whole thing about tow trucks and stuff like that, how much the insurance and all that was crazy, because I was just looking at the towing side being easy and all that. I had to learn the dynamics of once you get insured, man, that insurance is crazy because you're carrying another vehicle. So if that vehicle fall over or something, you got to pay for your truck to get fixed and theirs.
Mm, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's where finances come in.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cause see, we don't do the research on that stuff. Got a little echo.
Hold on, let me come out. Let me step out and come back.
Okay, go ahead. What's going on, Kay? And see, that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of people don't do the research on this stuff. That's where they lose out at because the biggest thing is I'm gonna sit here and do research because I want to know how much money I'm potentially make. I want to know my whole outcome, future, everything. I'm gonna do the research and I'm gonna figure it out. Like I told you, I was literally working 2 jobs. I'm like, dude, I was making so much money. Like now, I do side hustles at this job right here that I'm working while I'm at my job working, doing side jobs. Like the benefit of me doing what I want to do and having the money I want to have is predicated on me and how much grind and how much hustle I got. Shout out to K. Like that video yesterday, man. Waiting on a part 2 today. Do the apps, man. I'll probably send you one of them links that I had got last time to where I looked up all the gig apps, and it's so many different apps you can use to make money. Let alone the business that you provide of being a moving company, catering, and being an assistant. Like it's so much money out here. We leaving money on the table. Like I said, the gender topic, man, they're gonna be here all day. Men do what they want, women do what they want. You know, when it come down to it, it's us. We got to pick and choose what we gonna do and how we gonna live in society. Because, dude, most of us are one paycheck from being on the street. On average, most people live paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't have savings. Most people don't have nothing of some significance that they can sell and make money. Like literally, I have four wheelers. I have tools. If push come to shove, I can go through my house and raid everything and sell it. Make my money. Go do what I need to do. I had a cousin did that one time. He was, what I'm saying, was hurting, and he wasn't making that much money doing what he do in his business. and he got into the furniture business where he was selling stuff secondary. He go to flea markets and stuff like that. Man, he ended up taking all the stuff in his house besides the kids' beds and their toys and probably one TV. He sold the sofas, the dining room table, all that stuff, dishes down to just a couple of pots in the kitchen, and they went and got paper plates, sold all that stuff and brought it all back. And I'm like, dude, yeah, you still got a little echo.
You can hear it. You still got an echo.
Yeah, that.
Golly.
Hold
Hold
on,
on. All
I
right.
don't hear it now. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
It's back again. I
all
think it's
right.
just when I talk,
Right.
yeah,
Let
just
me come
mute
back up.
and then
All
all right.
right.
But yeah, I mean, just in general, man, like I was talking about earlier, I'm like, that lady had just a whole situation about how men need to do better and treat women better. And it's like the choices that you made. Like I say, I don't really focus on this because it's like we focusing on choices that people make. Everybody who makes bad choices, they all get together and they have a reason to come together to say these women act like this, or women come together and say these men act like this. This is the choices that you make. Like I hear men talking about women being Keishas and stuff like that. You chose to be with that Keishas. I mean, let me get this. Let me run this down. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with this. You got a lot of men in this space that want to deal with ratchet women, but they just don't want the ratchetness with it. That's that whole concept of being a freak in the sheets, but a lady, however the term goes, um, a lady out in the open and a freak in the sheets, whatever. They want those type of women. Then you got women. They want these traditional men. Like they want a man to pay all their bills and provide for them, but they want to be having hot girl summers. Like I told you about the woman who broke up her engagement. She literally broke up her engagement for Beyonce tickets. And the crazy part, like I said, 20 years, 15 years, whatever years from now, we're gonna be talking about this chick. Yeah, lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. Yeah. Like we're gonna be talking about this chick later on down the line, and needless to say, somebody gonna be doing a video on me talking about, man, see, that dude shouldn't be talking about that woman like that. He should know his worth. He married. Why is he focused on? Because I'm tired of hearing a lot of women complain about ain't no good men, but you forcing these good men out here. And then if you don't deal with them a certain way, you actually turning these good men into bad men. And the women don't say that. Yeah, I had a friend who sit here and she did this and that, and the dude didn't like it, and the dude became this way, and the dude became that way, simply because off of that. Like I said, we don't have these conversations. How a dude will sit there and mess with a chick and turn her a certain type of way. He turned her into a bad girl. You know, Wanda, Shannon, what's going on? But yeah, it's like I say, when you have these conversations like this, it gets a lot of views, but then, like I said, it doesn't build anything within the community. We talk about it, we complain about it, nobody changes, and life still goes on. You know, these are the decisions that these people have made, and they're mad about the outcome that they're getting from the decisions that they made. If most people can take stuff back, they know that certain people that they deal with are the most horrible people not to even, be in a relationship with. But you know why they're in a relationship? Society said it's okay. I can deal with this drug dealer that makes money. He ain't even got to be a drug dealer to that extreme. This is just gonna be a man who, just scams and stuff. It's like I literally seen this one video. This is how society has put these young kids. I seen a video with these young kids in high school were talking to someone and they was doing an interview. They was like, would you like a fat dude or a dude that has domestic? He does domestic, DV. All the young girls in high school said, I want a DV. Nobody wants a fat guy. This is how society is training our kids, you know. And even the dudes, they asking them, they was like, "Do you want a baby mama that takes care of you, do all the stuff that you need to do in the household, or do you want a baddie that cuts your clothes up, and I like they giving the worst scenario that a real fine girl will do compared to a woman that's just has a child, but she does everything right. All the dudes was talking about, man, I take that bad girl. I need that spice in my life. The same way the women did. And like I said, it's society standards put these young kids in this mindset that this is okay. This is what we need. And so until it hurts a lot of the youth because this is all they hear is destruction and mayhem. So they thinking that, okay, man, should be okay. This should be something that is accepted. But then when they get older, they say, man, why did I do that? But instead of them saying, man, I need to teach other people not to be like me, they come on the internet and complain, especially social media. Men need to act more better towards women. Women need to be more accepting to men. That whole fat shaming thing. Like I said, I deal with big girls. I don't have a problem with a big girl when I was single. I look more into the attitude of that woman on how she carries herself. But I'm not going to be sitting here forced to deal with no big girl because you know somebody else tells me to. It's because I want to. And having situations to where we have these issues in our community and all this stuff because guys are not picking big women. Lose the weight. If nobody picks you, lose the weight. That's something you can change for yourself because you don't want to change it. You're gonna stay fat, and nobody's gonna choose you. That's your fault. That's something easily you can change for yourself. They have surgeries for that, so it's no excuse. Same thing with men. Lose the weight, man. Go get a haircut, shape yourself up, go make more money. If a woman doesn't want to deal with you because you don't make enough money, you don't qualify, all this and stuff, go qualify. Go make the money. We can make all the excuses in the book how people are, but when it really comes down to it, if we don't get picked, it's on us. Like I said, these conversations, these shows always get easily picked on. AP back AP.
Yeah, back, man.
Yeah, man. But when it come down to it, it's like women complain about that whole thing, and men complain about it, but they're not doing anything to benefit themselves. If you sitting up here, messing around, just dude, you can't be doing that. And then when you get older, you want to complain about it. All these men talking about ain't no good women out here. Dude, you probably didn't peak at your age. No, women didn't like you because of the way you look, because you didn't have no money. They always made that complaint.
Yeah, just like I was gonna say, they made that complaint, like Ebony K going back to her, saying like, there's no good men, they're not good for nothing. And then she says she was raised without her father. So I'm like, that's why you think like that.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy part about that scenario, man, like that whole bus driver thing, you're talking about a lady who in a profession dominated mostly by men, and now it's starting to balance out. Like, why not date a bus driver? So you mean to tell me you need a man that's educated, you need all this typical height and stuff? You're at a 2%, 2% of men. What is it like? Less than 12% of all races, less than 12% make over $100,000 a year. Then when you start talking about the billionaires, you down to like what 3 to 4%. So let's not even go there. So I always tell the women, I say, this is how we gonna do the numbers. Out of all the men that make over 100,000, that's like 12%. Then you factor in those men that make over 12%, because this is the crazy part that I laugh at too. A lot of men that make a lot of money, look at the statistics. All of them, majority are married or in a relationship. So you don't even qualify for most of those men. You don't even qualify for most of those men because they married. A lot of those corporate guys, when those CEOs are moving people up, they move people up that are married because they're married. Most of these big corporations, these guys are married and have kids. They having this family foundation because they have that woman that's in that position that's helping them run the business. Jeff Bezos, his wife was in there helping him. I knew a guy, I moved him. His wife was pregnant. He worked for Snap On, the company that makes like the ratchet sets and stuff, the tools. He had his own Snap On franchise. He made so much money, the corporate office made him come work in the corporate. So he had to get rid of his business, and they paid for him to get moved by a professional company and all that. Dude, he literally had all this heavy toolboxes and stuff. And his wife said she used to help him do all that stuff when she was pregnant. They didn't have kids till like later on, like her late 30s. She had a daughter. She was helping him move the toolboxes. She was helping him do all that stuff. Like I went over there to grab some, and it was kind of heavy, and it was on wheels. I had to move it. She got on the other end and started helping me push it. It was a toolbox. I think she said that toolbox weighed like 800 pounds or something like that. I'm like, dang, this mug heavy, and it was on wheels. But it get to a point where it'll get loose and can't control it. You need two people to help. She got on the other end. She started running that toolbox, dude. Like when it comes down to it, those are the women that are helping these men. Most of these women don't even want to break a nail. You know, hell, even with my wife, she went and helped me try to do the floors in my house when I redid my hardwood floors. I took the carpet, I put hardwood. She tried, but it's just something that she's not good at. So I didn't fault her. I gave her A for effort. I told her, I said, just sweep. I do all the other stuff because you'll slow me down trying to, I can show you as I'm doing it, then you can help next time. But other than that, like I was on my pace, I was on my roll, I was ready to knock that stuff out because your back hurts sitting down there trying to put this stuff together. But that's the whole point. A lot of women ain't finna get down there in the mud and help their men. They gonna say that's what a man's supposed to do. And those are the women that ultimately don't get picked are not in situations to win. Like that dude who owns the bus driver, like literally, I know a guy, he used to drive a truck. His girl, she was a radiologist. She made over $200,000. She ended up buying him some trucks and started his own trucking company. Her last husband, she did that for him. He ended up losing contracts for his lawn care business because he was lazy. Had to fire all his employees and because he wasn't making no money, and just situations like that. You know, it comes down to it. AP.
Yeah, Shannon B was asking a good question. I think the answer to that question would be in the courthouse. Where's the bus driver going to meet a lawyer at in the courthouse? That reminds me of that movie. I remember that movie. You remember that movie she with Idris Elba and Gabrielle Union, the Tyler Perry joint? My man was like a felon, mechanic, and all that, man. And they found love.
Yeah. The old saying, the jack of all trade and the master of none. It's like as men, we gotta jump over buildings and all this stuff, but we gotta do it. Like, we have that topic all the time when we talk about how hold on right quick. Now we have this topic when we talk about this all the time where we say that when it comes down to it, um women be like, oh, that's a wifey role. I'm not doing that. That's wifey role. I'm not cooking for a man, doing all this for a man. It's like this is your job opportunity to become a wife by showing your skills. Like I always say, this is the 90-day rule for a job. When you enter in a relationship, I'm trying to see what type of woman you are so I can pick you to be my wife. But you telling me these are wifey roles? So it's like I have to benefit after I get the surprise after I marry you. But then let's go to this premise. Let's men say We doing husband roles. I can't pay no bills or help you with your car because that's a husband role. Women be like, no, 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 that's what you supposed. Well, how does that even work? That's why I say this whole topic between men and women, it gets diluted because people are pushing narratives, and especially the older women and the older men, they the worst. I was looking at something the other day. It was what's the guy I don't even watch him, Rolo Tomasi. I heard this guy was saying that guys in their 20s need to get vasectomies. And they say, well, it's reversible, but the chances of you having a kid are 50-50 after that. But this guy has 3 kids, and I think he's still married, if I ain't mistaken. Somebody was saying the guy was married with 3 kids. I'm like, you have a rule book on people to be red pilled, and you're married, you have a family. So basically, what you're doing is cutting the legs from all these other people. That's why I say, that, like, some of these guys and these women, they're doing a disservice. Same thing I always talk about with Cynthia. Cynthia G is telling young girls that they should abort these black male babies. So who are these women going to have relationship with if all the black male babies are deceased by a certain time or a year or something? So you're promoting what? Because if the men ain't around, who they gonna be dealing with? It's like when it comes down to it, like these narratives that they're pushing is horrible for our community in general, but we don't think. We just go with the flow. You got old heads out here, been married, had bad relationship. I can see you trying to prevent it by telling me to look out for this stuff, but just telling me don't get married in general, that's a no deal, bruh. You've been married. You had a horrible outcome. I can learn from your mistakes. I always say I can learn from everybody. I learned not to smoke crack because I seen crackheads. I see how crackheads move. I don't gotta go smoke crack to say that that's a bad decision for me. And it comes to a point where I'm like, you're teaching me how to be a better man and avoid these pitfalls by telling me just don't deal with it at all. You bumped your head. What if I want to try to see if I can't bump my head like the way you bumped yours? See, that's the whole scenario that a lot of these guys are not pushing. That, man, just because you made a bad decision, teach me not to make a bad decision. Don't teach me just don't play the game in general. Teach me how to not make a bad decision. Like that's the crazy. Like, hey, Doug, same with me, man. Like I've been married 16, going on 17 years, and I'm like, dude, that was one of the best things that ever, I did for my life. My wife is a good woman. Like I wasn't out here trying to smash and dash. I was out here looking for a good woman, just like my wife had kids. That's why I laugh when I hear guys talk about that. I'm like, if that ain't your thing, that ain't your thing. Just don't deal. I ain't got to talk about women with kids say that they horrible. I just don't deal with it. I can say there's nothing against them. I just don't deal with it. I don't have to make live streams on single moms. If I don't deal with single moms, why am I doing videos about single moms? That's my thing. Like if I'm only dealing with these type of women, I'm only talking about these type of women. Like I always said, every woman I had, they were good to a degree, but there were circumstances that provided them to say, man, I need to go chase the bag. So that's why I didn't be with them. You know, I had women that were real cool, real nice, but they was in circumstances where if they was in other circumstances, they probably would have been good women. I could have stayed with them, but hey, they needed money. They was like, hey man, at all costs, they needed money.
I agree. Simple, you know. If you're not into that lifestyle, I mean, why try to ruin it for everybody else? I understand it's a bad grab. People getting money off of it, so I understand that. But I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean that's a bad deal for anybody, but it's like, man, we sitting up here trying to complain
hey,
about the women
about
we
the
don't
women
want.
we don't want. Mm, that's deep. That's deep. Because I'm like, if that's the case, what are the conversations for? Like, just stop talking about it. They can't, man. I don't understand, man. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they can't.
they can't.
They,
They,
they won't
they
love that
won't love
because
that because
The truth as
The
I
truth
know
as
it,
I know it,
hey, AP, you might
AP
got mute
might
up.
got mute up.
But truth as I know it talks about that all the time. Talks about why the channels that talk about family is not promoted well. Why the channels that, pretty much give a light on how guys should move is not promoted. Because why? They don't want to promote them channels because they like the chaos. They like this whole thing about people running down on each other acting crazy. They like it. Why promote it?
Numbers, you know, they say the numbers is against us and divorce rate is high and blah blah blah. And then when we got this stuff coming out where it's like the Ebony K thing is like, oh, you know, I don't want to see. And then, like so and so was right. They're right about we're living in the gynocracy. It's like I don't think all women think like that, bro.
Yeah, I say the same thing. All women don't think like that, but they trying to push a narrative that all women think and move like that. And I'm like, come on, dude. We in this type of society where everybody's the same, you know. And a lot of times you do have to specifically say that, that you're not talking about everybody because that's the whole feeling that everybody think you're talking about them. Anytime you do a video talking about how men and women move, everybody think you talking absolutes. I always look at Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. He always say that. We're not talking in absolutes. We don't speak in absolutes, but people live that way in absolutes.
I got a homeboy right now that, you know, as far as you know, this manosphere space, they probably would deem my homeboy as a pookie, right?
And why is that?
Size the pookie. You gonna downsize the pookie because you know, I mean, she got her degrees. That's who she want. He treat her good.
And see, that's like the thing I be talking about. Just because you in a relationship with somebody and now you considered a pookie because your woman makes more money than you and all this stuff and you know and you what is the hobosexual, you sleeping on the couch, whatever this crap that they be saying.
Oh,
I'm
she pay
like,
all the
just because of
bills.
yeah. Hey, some dudes they just house husbands. That's how they was raised. That's how they move. You know, dudes gonna be house husbands because it's gonna come a time. I was looking at this one thing where this woman they had I think a newscast, and on the newscast they were showing how all these women were making so much money, and the women it was crazy how ironic it was because the black woman was saying how we make more money than men, and men don't make enough money, so there's not enough good men out here that's making all this money that can come take care of a woman like me. That's why I'm single. But then the woman who's married, which was the white woman, she was preaching that women make a lot of money. But when it came down to that point, she can't have a man that competes with her, this and that. She shut up because I don't know if her man made more money than her, but the whole point of reference was the guy who was up there. He was like, well, if men always made all more money than women, and men always took care of the women, and the roles were reversed. So why can't you take care of a man and let that man provide the same husband duties as the wife did? And she didn't want to hear that argument. He was like, so what are you making the money for? Because if we look at the Kevin Samuels method to a point where women are making a whole bunch of money, men don't need their money. So what is she making the money for? And then we can come from another scenario that Kevin talks about that if men don't need their money, why is she working so hard to make all that money? Like it was this one I think Fresh and Fit they was talking about that where the what was it? This woman she was a fans only. She said if she had a man that could help her and provide and she just be at home with her child, she wouldn't be doing fans only. She's like, man, fans only be the last thing I'll be worrying about because I'll be there doing everything for my man. But because I can't do that, I gotta do this fans only. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's sometimes yeah, we gotta accept it. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's some men out there who really wouldn't care that that's what she's doing for her bread, especially if he's getting some kind of PC out the deal or whatever the case. Like she showers her man and she spoils her man or her husband or whatever. It's like long as I know you don't got sex videos on there. You feel what I'm saying with other people, but it's like shit. If that's what she do, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't knock it. So I don't see how the shoe is on the other foot. Women talking about, oh, you a bus driver. It's like, and he's a bus driver or truck driver, or you know what I'm saying. Or me, I'm a cook. I'm a chef. So what about that? Like it's blue collar jobs out here that we're servicemen to humanity, regardless. You know what I'm saying? We provide a service for humanity, and that's what we do. You feel what I'm saying? It's not that a person can't be happy, but you got to be happy with yourself first. If you're not happy with yourself, nobody can make you happy at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's always the biggest thing when it comes down to it. We have our conversations. We try to help people and work with people. But hey, at the end of the day, a lot of these people, man, they just out for self gain. If they can't get what they want, bump everybody else. And I'm like, dang, that's a cold hard way to look at things, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's fake. We all wear masks sometimes. So those, especially those kind of women, oh, I'm a PhD, and oh, you got to own the bus. And we know, like the real men, we know the hardworking blue collar men. We know that you're vulnerable in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? We know the real you. You could paint this portrait, and I'm an alpha woman, and I'm a PhD, and I'm not settling, and all this bullshit, but at the end of the day, you're still human and you're a woman, and women are very emotional. Men are logical. So it's shit that they do behind closed doors when they in their house, they eating ice cream and they sad and all this. Like y'all can't deal with the reality of that. You know what I'm saying? She's Ebony K is 40. I love Cougar. She's a Cougar. She may not think she's a Cougar, but goddamn, you 40. Sooner or later, another 10 years, you be 50. Not to say you can't find love, but I mean, at that point in time, it's like you may not have no family, or like Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. You might got to get a dog or a cat.
Yeah. Man, good talking to you, AP, man. I'm about to go ahead and end this, man. I'm about to start my day.
All right, man. You know how you do, man. You got 13 jobs, man.
Yeah, man. 14 jobs, man. Making the money. Making the money.
I did share the video though. You know how we do, so I shared it, man. Appreciate you, she appreciate you.
All right now. Like always, we here and we gone.